Okay, so today I'm going to be teaching you guys about fire safety and how to start a fire. So if you look here, then there's a lot wrong with this picture. First of things, there's a lot of dry twigs and leaves around it. So first what you want to do is rake everything around your campfire. Okay, pause. As you can see, I have raked everything around the campfire in a good radius and put all the dry twigs and leaves on top of the actual fire area in the fire pit. And if you can't see it, the fire pit is right here. This is our old fire pit. And what I'm gonna do now is hose down the fire pit. You want to make sure that the stones are the only things that are getting wet. If you get the center wet, you will not have as good of a fire. Stop.
It is.
You didn't tell me. Now I'm raking all the moss and dirt off of the campfire. I'm just doing this so you guys can actually see the area around the campfire. But it is good for not spreading fire if it gets too big. Okay, stop. So there are a few main things that you want to have around your campfire. You want to have a first aid kit in case of an emergency. You want to have a water hose or a bucket filled with water and or a bucket full of dirt. In that case, if the fire does get too hot or if it gets too big, then you can hose it down. Stop it. You also want to have some matches so that you can actually start your fire. Now, as you can see with this fire right here, is not a good starting fire. You only have a bunch of kindling. You want to have, what is it called?
Firewood.
You want to have a lot of firewood as well, so you can build up the area around it. So we're gonna go collect some actual sticks so that you can build around. Too long of sticks. You want to break them in pieces so that you can build up around the campfire. Stop it now. As you can see, we have taken some of the fluff in there and we've moved it off to the side because it was way too big of a fire. And now I'm going to show you how to use broken up smaller twigs and make it into a log cabin. That's how you make a log cabin, and if you want it bigger, you can just build it up and then put more stuff in the center. Okay. Now, take your matches when you're ready to light your fire. Cut it to when. Okay. And start your fire.
Went out.
I'll just cut it to when it starts. Just keep filming it though. now when your fire is when your fire is lit, you want to keep monitoring your fire to make sure it does not get out of control, and if it dies down, then you build it up more. You want to stand in the way of the wind so it doesn't go out. You can always tell where it's going because of the smoke.
I went out.
No, it didn't. It's still going. And you want to lightly blow on the fire to make sure that it's still lit. Pretty sure this one's gone out again. Okay. And that's better. And then when your fire is properly lit, you want to put more kindling on top of it. There are 3 common ingredients of fire. It's the actual fire, the fuel, and the air. If there's too much air, it'll go out, but if you keep blowing on it, it'll increase the fire and make it a little better.
Kindling's on fire now, which is good.
Yeah. And now the kindling is catching on fire, which makes it a successful fire. But you want to keep monitoring it and have your hose ready and have your first aid kit also ready. And if you are young, then you might want to have an adult watching so that you don't burn yourself.
I think that's good.
It's back on fire. Huh? Okay, Wyatt. Okay. Are you still recording? You're still recording. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to put out the fire. Okay. Thank you. And you keep doing that until your fire is put out. In case of a burn, take your first aid kit. Pretty sure this is gauze.
Mhm.
No, this is gauze. And you take your gauze out. Huh? Huh? I can't hear you. You take your gauze out. And you wrap the burn. This. And then you cut it. Or, no, you don't cut it. You just use the whole thing. Because this is cheap gauze. connectors fell off. Take your two connectors after pulling your gauze tight. Just stab both sides. Stab one side on this gauze. Push the pins down. Sorry, this is not cheap gauze. On both of them, like that. You stab them with these, and then you push it down so that it stays in place. And then stab them on that. That's how you wrap a burn. Next, for a burn, you want, after a while, you want to go and put your arm in cool water so that the burn cools down. You might want to do that before putting gauze on. And if you do put gauze on before you get to the water, you want to take the gauze off, put your hand in the water gently, and then wrap it in gauze again. In case of an extreme emergency where you have a giant fire and it's starting a wildfire, make sure you have multiple people in the area that can help you. You don't want to do this alone, and if you do it alone, it might be a very big mess. Okay? That is my fire safety, and I hope you guys learned something.